everybody, I'm here with your astrology for the month of August 2025. So I know these are not my most popular videos, but I know the people who like them really like them. So those of you that do, thank you for being here. If you like the astrology stuff, I do have a free newsletter on my website. So all of this will be in a newsletter where you can refer back to it. It's free. You can sign up for it on my website. Please check out the link below if you're interested in that. You can sign up for that. What else is going on? Yes, also astrology. I do astrology readings on my Etsy, and if you like these and you want like a detailed weekly astrology report, I do have that on my Patreon, which you can check out. So shameless plug aside, let's get on with what's happening in August. So it's been a busy year, right? We've had Pluto go into Aquarius, we've had Neptune change signs, we have Saturn change signs, we have Jupiter's planets change signs, and last month we had Uranus go into Gemini. So lots going on. This month we don't have outer planets changing signs, but we do have outer planets making aspects to each other. So we will be talking about this month. We also have the end of the Mercury retrograde going on, so we'll talk about that. And of course, we always have a full moon and a new moon every month, so we're going to talk about all of that. But there isn't like one major outstanding thing this month. It's not like the other months. So we're going to get into it. We're going to start at the top of the month and work our way down. So the first thing that happens this month is on Wednesday, August 6th. We have Mars change signs, go from Virgo to the sign of Libra. So Mars changes signs about every 2 months. This, isn't that unusual. Mars is our sense of action. It's our will. It's our drive. It's also anger and aggression. It can be war as well. So he's going from Virgo, and Virgo tends to be like Mars in Virgo gets things done. It takes that list. It checks things off. It's very analytical, but it can also be really critical. Like we can be really self-critical and really critical of others, but we can get a lot accomplished because it's Earth sign. Mars is not the most comfortable in the sign of Libra, and that's because Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's a very opposing energy to Mars. But Mars in Leo, it's not as in-your-face active, but it's very much the energy I heard somebody describe once of an iron fist in a velvet glove, and that is, I think, perfect description of Mars and Libra. Mars and Libra is about diplomacy, but it's diplomacy that's backed by some force. So it's like, there's this kind of like diplomatic face to things, but that there is, it's not empty words. There is something behind it. There is this sense of like, this could, there's power behind this. There's more than just words to this. There's action that can happen. So one thing I'm hopeful about is that Mars in Libra does tend to be more about diplomacy. So I am hoping that with a lot of the conflicts going on in the world. So unfortunately, we know that there's some pretty terrible conflicts going on in the world. We have, obviously the war that's going on in Ukraine. We have the conflict between Israel and Gaza, really hoping that, aid can get into people. There are people starving there, right? Like, let's, I do not like Hamas at all, but that doesn't mean that regular or average Palestinians deserve any of this stuff that's happening to them. Is really terrible. But I also, I'm all for innocent people everywhere in the world. I'm also want the hostages released and Israeli people to be safe too. There's the conflict between Israel and Iran, and I'm hoping that innocent people wherever they are in the world, whether you're in Iran or Israel or Gaza or Ukraine or Russia, wherever you are, that that you're safe and that you deserve to live in peace and security and have food and water and all those things. So let's hope that with Mars and Leo we get some of that and we get some diplomacy so that people can live in a peaceful world. So that's going on Wednesday, August 6th. So we may see more diplomacy, hopefully, cross our fingers, out there in the world. And, it's also about working together, working in partnerships, using our energy to work in partnerships to accomplish things. Now, I am going to mention with this, what's very interesting is because we have all of these outer planets like Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, all of them in very early degrees of their signs, that when a planet changes signs, it's going to make aspects with these outer planets. And so what's going to happen when Mars goes into Libra is that very quickly, like on the 8th, he's going to be making a trine with Uranus. So this is very supportive. So I'm hoping there may be some unusual events that will happen. So we may see some breakthroughs and things like diplomacy around that time. Trines do tend to be very supportive, and there may be also some breakthroughs in technology as well. And then on that same day, Mars is going to oppose Saturn and the next day Neptune, that are in Aries, because Libra and Aries are opposite signs. And so there may be some frustration, because Mars opposite Saturn tends to be this like one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake kind of energy, where there are things that we want to move forward with something, but then also something wants to stop us. And then that aspect with Neptune can be that there's like a fog of confusion. So I really feel like between August 6th to about August 10th, because Mars is going to be making aspects with all those outer planets, it's going to be making a trine with Pluto as well, is that we may see a lot more energy going on around these conflicts. There may be diplomacy going on, people, making some changes, or, some powerful moves going on in this area. There may be some frustration as well, but I do feel like there's going to be some action around these conflicts, hopefully for the better for everybody involved. So that's what I'm trying to say with that Wednesday, August 6th, that Mars going into Libra. So that first, 10 days, actually the 6th to the 10th about, in August, we may see a lot of this stuff in the news. Now, in your own life, you may see that there are some conflicts going on that you may be able to resolve or find new ways to deal with, or come up against, some restrictions, and you're gonna have to be creative about how you're gonna go around it. So think about that. Think about where the Libra house is in your chart, and where, where some of these other things are in your chart to know. But I do see more diplomatic energy going on. So then we have on Saturday, August 9th, we have a full moon, and this is at 16 degrees of Aquarius. So full moons happen when the sun and moon are in opposite signs. We have our sun in Leo, so we have our moon in Aquarius, so that is the full moon for the month. Full moons, heightened energy, because the moon is all about our emotions, our subconscious, and it's at its height. It's a good time to get things done. We may see goals and intentions we made kind of come to fruition at this time, but we may also have heightened energy. Now, this particular full moon isn't really making a lot of aspects, but I do wonder with that Mars energy, if there just might be a lot of energy going on around that time. We may feel energized about things, and it's making a nice trine with that full moon. So we are feeling energized. So an energetic full moon, and often this full moon, the sun's in Leo, which is all about self-expression and creativity. And then that full moon is reminding us that there's a wider world. It's not just about us. So we're being asked, how are we going to use that creativity to serve the greater good? How are we going to use our self-expression, our authenticity in the world to help others, to serve others, to do good things in the world? So that's that full moon on Saturday, August 9th. Now on Monday, August 11th, we have the Mercury retrograde ending. So Mercury gets to 4 degrees of Leo, and it's going to stop there, and it's going to start to move forward again. So it's still going to be in this shadow for most of the rest of the month, between 4 degrees to I think like 14. It's going to be in its shadow. I don't worry too much about the shadow of the retrograde. I find the retrograde itself tends to be the most disruptive time, especially around the beginning and the end. So watch for miscommunication. Obviously, I find Mercury in Leo retrogrades tend to be around like drama or scandal, so watch for that. But I do see after the Mercury retrograde, things are going to get easier, less miscommunication, less travel delays. So that's August 11th, we have that. Also on August 11th, we have Saturn, who's in like at 1 degrees of Aries, making a sextile with Uranus at 1 degrees of Gemini. So these are very slow moving planets. So this is the exact day, but it'll probably color the entire week, I would say, or first part of August, is that we're starting to be able to use the new technologies and inspirations and ideas of Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini is all about new technology, inspiring ideas. and we are starting to make frameworks for them. So I really see this as in the world talking about restrictions on things like AI and social media, and maybe talking about some of the new technologies like with drones and self-driving cars and stuff. We may see some rules around that. But in our own lives, we're starting to set up new structures, new ways of doing things. We're starting to think, how can I do this in a new way? So a very constructive aspect I'm seeing on this day, and actually in the first part of August. And then also on Monday, August 11th, we have Venus, who's in Cancer right now, conjunct with Jupiter. This tends to be a pretty lucky day. It happens once a year where Venus goes conjunct with Jupiter. It's at 11 degrees of Cancer. So if you have a lot of Cancer planets, or if you have planets at 11 degrees of any of the signs, you'll feel this a little more than others. But I wanted to mention this just because this is probably one of the most positive days of the month. I think in general, August is pretty positive, but I feel like around August 11th is going to be kind of like a good luck day. There's some lucky things happening, and particularly in the Cancer house of your chart. All right, there's a bit of a gap, and then we have on Friday, August 22nd, we have the sun going into the sign of Virgo. So sun goes into the sign of Virgo around this time every year, usually the 20th, 21st, 22nd of August. So we go from Leo season, which is very much height of summer, getting out, having fun, going and doing things and being seen, being creative, wanting to enjoy summer fun. And sun in Virgo is like, okay, back to work, back to school. We got to start being practical. What are, getting ready for the school year. I know I will be at this time getting ready for the new school year. So it's all about like, okay, we need to get practical and get down to work. So definitely the tone changes around this time. Doesn't mean we still can't have some summer fun, but I think we just get more into like a practical mindset. This is also a really good time to go shopping for school supplies, even if you don't go to school. Great time to go shopping for stationery, to get that planner for the year ahead, all those kind of things. So definitely that organized, practical kind of energy coming into our lives. Also on Friday, August 22nd, we have a new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo. So new moons are when the sun and moon are in the same sign. So the sun and moon are both going into Virgo. They're going in together on August 22nd. Great time to set some intentions, particularly in the Virgo house of your chart. This is a good time for new routines. Virgo is all about day-to-day routines. Health goals. Virgo is about health. Goals you want to do to be of service, like if you want a new job, if you're looking to volunteer, those kind of things, because Virgo is also about service. And any kind of practical goal you have where you want to like get things done step by step, this is a good time for those kind of things. So a lot of Virgo energy on the 22nd. And because it's at 0 degrees, we're actually going to have 2 new moons this year in the sign of Virgo. One is going to be this one at 0 degrees, and then in September, we're going to have one at 29 degrees. So we actually have 2 new moons in Virgo this year. This is the first one. It's at 0 degrees, which is a great time for new beginnings, new starts. If you want to feel like you want to have a new start for the fall, as we get towards the fall, this is the time to do it. This one also, the moon has a square. Squares are a little stressful with Uranus. So there may be some disruption or something unusual that happens, but it might be inspiring us to do things a little differently. And then on Monday, August 25th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Leo. So Venus is moving into Leo. And again, because we have those outer planets at the early degrees, when she moves into Leo, she's going to be making a trine that's supportive with both Saturn and with Neptune. So it's a good time for organizing your energy around creative activities. She's going to make a sextile with Uranus, so that's inspiring energy, but she's going to be opposite of Pluto in the early degrees. So, Pluto in Aquarius can sometimes be the tyranny of the masses, or peer pressure, or pressure to be like everybody else. And Venus in Leo is not like everybody else. Venus in Leo is showy. This is Venus energy that's around being very self-expressive. I think of Venus in Leo as being like big hair, lots of sequins and gold and in your face. This is not a wallflower energy. This is about showing off. This is about being your best dramatic self, that Venus in Leo energy coming in on August 25th. And then on Thursday, August 28th, we have Uranus, who's in those early degrees of Gemini. making an exact sextile with Neptune at 1 degrees of Gemini and Aries. So this is an opportunity to think differently, to think outside the box. Uranus is inspiration, new ideas, especially in Gemini, and that Neptune is our fantasies, our dreams, our ideals. And so we're being asked to look at things a little bit differently, to look at new opportunities. So I think there's a lot of cause for optimism in August. We do have some very interesting energies going on. I think that there's going to be dramatic energy. It's going to be in those first couple of weeks of August with Mars making aspects to those outer planets. But I'm hoping that it is a move towards diplomacy, towards agreement, towards resolving some of these conflicts, or at least improving things for people, I really think. And we have that Mercury retrograde ending. We have a beautiful full moon in the middle of the month. And then we kind of have this like, let's get down to work energy as we get into that Virgo season. So that's what I'm seeing for the month of August. Again, if you want all this written out, you can subscribe to my free newsletter, which will be coming out on the weekend. And also, if you like the astrology, you can check out my Patreon, check out my Etsy shop. But thank you so much for being here. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know your thoughts about, last month as well. It's been this whole year, I feel like it's just been a big roller coaster ride for all of us, right? I kind of want to get off. I kind of want to just, have some peace and normalcy for everybody, for God's sake. But anyway, that's how I'm feeling. I hope you're doing okay out there wherever you are. And I'm sending you so much peace and love and light.